These are the questions that the children found the trickiest on a recent fractions assessment. This one they found most difficult, actually dividing into the decimals. I think it was more the actual division that they found tricky rather than the actual concept. But they had to divide into the pence to get £15 divided by 4 to find 1/4 £3.75, and then they had to multiply that £3.75 by 3 to get 3 of those quarters. But this child did a perfect job. In this example, again, it was 3/8 of 980. They had to divide 980 by 8, and the answer was 122.5, and then multiply by the numerator, in this case 3, 122.5 multiplied by 3 gave 367.5. I really like this answer. We're comparing 1/3 and 2/5, and this child has shown that she's converted to a common denominator there of 15, and then there's a good written explanation as well. That definitely was a well worked mark. Some children there started doing diagrams and talking about pizza, but this was a really good mathematical explanation. Number 14 was tricky because it required the children to add, effectively add another third, because 3/4 of a number is 48. What is the number? So if 3/4 is 48, if they divided that 48 by 3, then it got 1 of the quarters, and then this child has added that 16 onto the initial 48 to get 64, or they could have done 16 times by 4 to get the answer of 64. Question 15 was relatively straightforward. 325 divided by 5 gave an answer of 65. A lot of children struggled with this question. They had to read really carefully, but this child has clearly worked out that they had to find out how many 3/4 of 24 was. So she's done 24 divided by 4 gave 6, multiplied by 3 meant that 18 of them were red, 4 of them were blue, 18 plus 4 is 22, and that meant there had to be 2 green. Putting these 4 fractions in order, this child has correctly converted all of them to 20ths, so they have a common denominator, and then she was able to put those into order. The children that got that wrong were the ones who didn't spot that they had to convert them all into 20ths. Never try to order or compare fractions if they haven't got the same denominator. And this last question they all found tricky. I think only Beth got it right, and you had to be able to divide by 12, and that was again more of a limitation of children not being able to do long division correctly. They needed to do 378 divided by 12. How many 12s in 3 you can't do? How many 12s in those 37 tens? Well, that's 3. That's 36 with 1 left over. How many 12s in 18 would have been 1 with 6 left over, which we could divide into the decimals. How many 12s in 60 would be 5? So 1/12 was going to be 31.5. Then we could do 31.5 multiplied by 5, which is that numerator into there. 5 times 5 is 25 tenths, that's 5 tenths, 2 units. 1 times 5 is 5 plus 2 is 7. 3 times 5 is 15, and the answer was 157.5.